Hello students, myself Dr. Kalpak Kadarkar. We have covered 3 lectures and 2 practicals in this biostatistics series. That lectures and practicals are about introduction to the biostatistics. After that, types of data, in which we have covered about the qualitative data, quantitative data and 4 types of scales, that is nominal scale, ordinal scale, ratio scale and interval scale. After that, we have seen about the graphical presentations of data, in which we have seen graphical presentations for the qualitative data as well as graphical presentations for the quantitative data. So today's lecture is about the measures of central tendencies. So let's have a look into that. Let's begin. So the learning objectives for today's session are to know the details of the central tendency, to know and understand various measures of central tendencies, to understand advantages and limitations of various central tendencies, and at the end you should be able to calculate central tendencies for given dataset. Before we go into the details of the various measures or various indices of central tendency, first we have to understand the meaning of central tendency. Central tendency or measure of central tendency is a single value that attempt to describe a set of data by identifying the central position within that set of data. As such, measures of central tendency are sometimes called measures of central location. They are also classed as summary statistics. The mean, often called as an average, is a most likely the measure of central tendency that you are most familiar with. But there are others such as median or the mode. The mean, median and the mode are all valid measures of central tendency. But under current conditions or under different conditions, some measures of central tendency become more appropriate to use than others. In the following sections, we will look at the mean, median, mode and learn how to calculate them and under what conditions they are the most appropriate to be used. And other than that, there are harmonic mean, geometric mean and various locational values, the details of which we are going to cover in upcoming lectures. So let's start. So let's start with the most commonly used central tendency, that is mean. Mean is also called as arithmetic mean or average in layman's language. So how we calculate an average or a mean? We take a sum of all the values that we are having and we divide by the number of values, and that will give you the mean. That is very simple and that is the common meaning of the mean in layman's term. But let's go into the details in terms of statistics. On screen you can see various formulas, but before going into the details of these formulas, let's revise some of the terms. In last lecture we have seen about the group data and ungrouped data. To revise that, ungrouped data or individual data means, for example, again I have collected the data about your weight, that is about the 200 students present in this class, and I have collected the data about the 200 students. And if I present that data individually, means roll number, and in front of that roll number I have written the weight of the student, that is called as the ungrouped data or individual data. But if I group that data into less than 40, 40 to 60, 60 to 80 kg, 80 to 100 kg and more than 100 kgs, and that will give you the for example, less than 40 kg there are 25 students, 40 to 60 kgs there are 80 students, 60 to 80 kgs there are 70 students, like way. So that is called as a group data. So we have to calculate mean for the group data and ungrouped data with different methods. So first go into the simple one, that is the mean calculations or arithmetic mean calculations for the individual or ungrouped data. As I said, or as you can see on the screen, that arithmetic formula for the arithmetic mean is that denoted by x bar is equal to x1 x2 plus x3 up to n number of x values. So sum of the all values you are having, after that you have to divide by the number of values. So suppose 200 students are here, I have to add the weights of the all 200 students and divide it by the number of observation, that is n. N is stands for n is equal to 200 here. So whatever answer will come, that is called as a mean, and that is a very simple method to calculate a mean. There is also one of the shortcut methods that is also mentioned, and always remember, in your exams there are statistical exercises are there, and if they said ki calculate by the shortcut method, then you have to use this shortcut method. Otherwise, if there is no mention of any specified method, you have to go by the formula that is mentioned above this shortcut method. So by this shortcut method, you have to assume one value among the observations. So again, for example, for your class, you have to assume one of the value, that is that is the weight of the one of the students, and after that you have to find out the difference of rest of the student from weight of the rest of the student from that assumed weight, and after finding that difference you have to sum that difference and again divide it by the n. That n in your case is 200, and after that you have to add that summation of d divided by n into a to find out the mean, and this is called as a shortcut method. With the help of example, I can show you how to calculate the mean with normal as well as the shortcut method. So example is on screen. So students start calculating the mean of this given data set. I read the example. The following marks scored by the student in 8 unit test of second MBBS class, and the marks are 61, 58, 62, 67, 65, 68, 70 and 69. So how will you calculate the arithmetic mean of this data set? Here in numerator you can notice there is a summation of marks achieved in all 8 tests divided by number of observation, that is 8, and the numerator after summation is 520 divided by 8 and answer is 65. So the arithmetic mean of the given example is 65. Now the second example. In a series of 10 postmortems, following observations regarding the weight of a liver were found. So these are the 10 observations. These are as follows: 1420, 1405, 1425, 1410, 1415, 1435, 1430, 1415, 1445 and 1430. You have to calculate average weight of a liver by shortcut method. Now please notice here in question we have mentioned about the shortcut method, and if similar question come in your exam and you calculate arithmetic mean by normal method, you can lose your marks. You have to calculate the average weight of a liver by the shortcut method. So let's see how to calculate it by the shortcut method. So here you have to make a table of 2 columns. The heading of the first column is weight of a lever, and in second heading is difference of a weight of a lever from the assumed value. So there are 10 observations of the weight of a lever that you have mentioned in first column, and after that you have assumed one value, that is one weight of a lever, that is 1415 grams. Now you have to calculate difference of each value of weight of a lever from this assumed value. For example, first value is 1420. So 1420 minus 1415 assumed value gives you the answer of 5. Likewise, second value 1405 minus 1415 will give you the value minus 10. Likewise, you have to calculate the difference for all 10 values, and later on in at the end of this second column you have to find out what is the summation of these difference values considering their plus and minus sign. So the summation of these values comes to 80 considering their positive and negative sign. So you can go you can feed this value into your formula. So formula is assumed value, that is 1415, plus summation of differences, that is 80, divided by n. Here n means number of observations are 10 and answer will be 1423. If you go by the normal method or normal formula, same answer will be there, but for the shortcut method you have to go or you have to follow these steps, otherwise you can miss reduce your you can miss your marks. Now you can think what is need of this shortcut method when the normal method is easier, but this can be easy for this short data set, but when you have 100 data set, 100 number of observation, 200 number of observations, and in that case this shortcut method can be useful to you when you are going doing it by your hand or manually. Nowadays many softwares are there, excel sheets are there, which can help you to calculate the average very easily. Now we have finished the calculations for the mean or arithmetic mean for the ungrouped data. Now you can see the formulas for the calculation of the arithmetic mean for the group data. I have told you what is group data and what is ungrouped data. So just take a look of the formulas. There are two types of group data. One is called as the discrete frequency distributions and another one is called as the continuous frequency distribution. With the help of example, I will tell you about this discrete and continuous frequency, but just take a look at the formulas. So formula for the discrete frequency distribution is mean is equal to summation of f into x divided by n. N stands for number of observations, and summation of f, and for continuous frequency again summation of fx divided by n. And again there is a shortcut method exists for this group data also. It is on similar lines as per the ungrouped data. Mean is equal to a means assumed value plus summation of fx divided by n, or a summation of fd divided by n, where d stands for particular observations minus assumed observation value. So let's understand with the help of examples. So this is the example of discrete frequency distribution. Now you have to calculate an average number of children per family from the following data. So in first column number of children are mentioned, and in second column number of families are mentioned. So in first column, in number of children's column, there are number of children starting from 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and in front of them number of families are mentioned. So that is meaning the meaning of this table is the families having no children are 30, the families having single child are 52, families having two children are 60, families having three children are 65, and so on. We have to calculate average number of children per families, and this particular set is called as a discrete frequency distribution. So to solve this, or to write an answer in your exam, you have to draw a table. First two columns are given in question that you have to copy into your table as it is. After that, you have to find or calculate third column, that is f into x. Now let's go to the details. First is about the number of children, that is the x column. Second is about the number of families, that is the f. And third is about f into x, means number of families into number of children. So we can get actual number of children there. So first is 0 into the 30, 0 children. Number 52 families with 1 children, that means 52 children. 60 families with 2 children, that is the 120 children. 65 families with the 3 children, 195. Like way for the 18 families with 4 children, 10 families with 5 children, 5 families with 6 children. And the summation of the third column is 519. I told you in formula for the discrete frequency distribution that in numerator there is a summation of fx, here it is 519, divided by number of observations, that is n, and n is equal to summation of f here it is number of families, and it is 240. So when you divided 519 by 240, it answer will be 2.1625. If you don't understand, please correlate with the formula that I have shown you in previous slide. This is the second example. Here you can see on the screen, it is an example of continuous frequency distribution. So example is, find the average age in years at the time of death in a city A. So first column is about the age interval, which starts from 0. So first age interval is between 0 to 10, 10 to 20, 20 to 30, 30 to 40, up to 90 years. And in front of that, in second column, we have mentioned about the number of death in particular age groups. Suppose in example 0 to 10 years interval, there are 16 deaths. 10 to 20 years interval, 20 years of age, there are 9 deaths, and likewise for each age group the number of deaths are mentioned. So and your task is you have to calculate the average age, and this is the example of continuous frequency distribution. So let's see how to calculate the average age of at the time of death. So you have already first two columns, that is a column of age interval, second column is about the age of deaths, and it is shown as a f. Now third thing you have to third column you have to mention about the mid value of that age interval. So let's take example of first age interval, that is between 0 years to 10 years of age, and the mid value of that particular interval is 5. Like way mid value of 10 to 20 years age interval is 15. You have mentioned that 10 value in front of 10 age intervals, and after doing that, that values are called as x values. And now in fourth column you have to multiply that f with x to calculate the number of death in that particular age intervals with the help of the mid values, and that will come in first value is 80, 135, like way so on till last 80 to 90 years age group, that is 170. After doing that, you have to take a summation of this f into x, and that will come to 3130. I again request you to go into the details of the formula that I have mentioned in previous slide for the continuous frequency distribution, where I have mentioned about numerator summation of f into x, here it is 3130 divided by n. N stands for summation of f, here it is 90, that is number of summation of number of death in each age interval, and your mean is 34.78. So average age at death is 34.78 years. Hopefully you have understood this. Now suppose in your exams question mention about calculate the average age in average age at the time of death by the shortcut method. So how you can calculate? First column is same, second column is also same, also third column is same. So up to 3 columns it is common as per previous method. ठीक? After that you have to assume one value, one x value in third column. You have assumed 45 as a age at the time of death. In fourth column you have to find the difference of the observations from these assumed values. So for example, for the age interval of 0 to 10 years, mid value is 5, assumed value is 45. So 5 minus 45 will give you the minus 40, and likewise you can calculate all the difference values for all 10 observations. After doing that, you have to multiply this d with the f, means this difference with the number of death in that particular age interval. So for example, for age interval of 0 years to 10 years of age, number of deaths, that is f value are 16, f value is 16, difference value is minus 40. So their multiplication value is minus 640. So likewise you can calculate the values for the 10 age intervals, and after doing that you have to take the summation of this fd, and that will come to the minus 920. Now again I request you to go into the details of the formula that I have mentioned in previous slide for the shortcut method for continuous frequency distributions. So that formula is mean is equal to assumed value plus summation of fd divided by n. N stands for summation of f. So here assumed value is 45, summation of fd is minus 920, and n is equal to summation of f, that is number of deaths columns total, that is 90, and ultimately your answers come to 34.78. So you can notice that the answer through shortcut method and normal method is same, but this shortcut method can reduce your hard work. So hopefully you have understood how to calculate a mean with the help of shortcut method. Now the important part, that is to understand the advantages and limitations of this central tendency, that is the advantages and limitations of the arithmetic mean. So there are certain selective criteria, based on that we can compare our different central tendency. So first criteria is it should be easy to calculate. So as you can see, there is a comparison between mean, median and mode. So in terms of mean is very easy to calculate. You can notice that with the help of your example. It should be rigidly defined. Fine. It should be based on all observations. We have to add all observations, so we are considering all observations, we are not missing any observations, so it is based on all observations. It should be useful for the further mathematical treatment. Yes, we can calculate a standard deviation or the measures of variation with the help of this selective criteria. It should be least affected by the sampling fluctuations. Yes, it is. And it should not be much affected by the extreme values. But the disadvantage of mean, it is affected by the extreme values. For example, take example of weight of the 10 student, and out of that 10 student, one student have the weight of 150 kilograms. So ultimately the average weight of that students will increase, and that will be biased, or that will be more. So it is affected by the extreme values. So in that case mean is not useful. Again, mean cannot be calculated by the graphical method. Now next measure of central tendency is median. One thing that I have forgot to tell about the mean, that is mean can be calculated only for the quantitative data and not for the qualitative data, but median is useful for both, that is for qualitative data and quantitative data. Let's understand the meaning of the median with the help of examples. So example is on screen. You have to calculate a median for the following data. Data is 7, 8, 4, 5, 6, 3, 10, 8, 5, and you have to calculate a median for this. So to calculate a median, first you have to arrange the data either in ascending order or in descending order. We have arranged it in ascending order. Now the formula for the median is value of n plus 1 divided by 2 position, that is n stands for number of observations. So here number of observations are 9. So 9 plus 1 means 10 divided by 2. So value of fifth position, that is your median. Remember here median is not 5, median is value at the fifth position. So value at fifth position here it is 6. So don't get confused between fifth, you have to write 5 as answer or value of fifth position as answer. So here answer it is 6. So what is the difference of this between this example and previous example? In previous example there were 9 values. In this example there are 10 values. So if you go by the formula of previous example, that is 10 plus 1 divided by 2, the answer will be the 5.5 value. So it is not possible. So how to solve this example? Okay, let's solve. First we will arrange the data in ascending order. Since there are 10 values which is even, so median is equal to mean of the fifth and sixth value. Understood? Fifth and sixth value, that is 7 is the fifth value plus 8 is the sixth value divided by 2, and answer is 7.5. Again I highlight that you cannot take the average of 5 and 6 and write your answer 5.5. That is wrong. You have to take an average of fifth and sixth value, so we'll come to your answer 7.5. So previous two examples of median calculations were about ungrouped data. So like we have seen the calculations in mean for the group data, there are calculations for the median for the group data. So first take a look at the formula and let's go into the detail, or let's understand with the help of example. But let's have a look. Median is equal to L. L stands for lower limit of the median class. And which are that median class? The class having total frequency divided by 2 is less than or equal to cumulative frequency. I will make you understand with the help of example. Just note down this. So L plus n by 2. N means total frequency divided by 2 minus C. C stands for cumulative frequency of the class previous to the median class divided by F, that is frequency of median class, into I, that is the class interval. Again before I shift to the example, I want to tell you this is the most important example and can come in your exam for to find out the solutions. So pay attention, understand it, look at the formula, look at the examples 2 or 3 times so that you can understand and make sure which median class you have to select, which how to select the what is the frequency of previous median class, what is the cumulative frequency, and then solve the homework also. So let's see. So the example is, find the median weight of the 590 infants born in a hospital in 1 year with the help of following table. So in first column we have mentioned about the class interval, about the weight. So class interval as follows: 1.95 kgs to 2.45, 2.45 kgs to 2.95, so on till 4.45 and above. and in front of that number of infants having the weight between that class interval. That is, for first class interval 1.95 to 2.45 kgs, there are 37 infants, and so on, and total number of infants in second column is 590. So let's see how to calculate the median weight. So first two columns are already with you. You have to find the cumulative frequency in third column. So how to find out the cumulative frequency? Cumulative frequency means you have to add the frequency of the previous class and calculate the frequency of the adding that frequency, you have to calculate the cumulative frequency. So for first class interval the cumulative frequency is 37, but for the second class interval onwards, that is 2.45 to 2.95, you have to add that cumulative frequency of first class into the second class, that is 37 plus 117, and for and cumulative frequency for second class is 154. When you add that 154 into the 207, you will get the cumulative frequency for third class 361, and like way, and it will come to the 590 for the 4.45 and above. Now again write down the formula which I have shown you in previous slide. So here n stands for summation of f. So here summation of f is 590. So 590 divided by 2 is equal to 295. Clear? So you have to select a median class with the help of this n by 2 value. So here n by 2 value is 295. So median class having the cumulative frequency is equal to 295 or more than 295, you have to select that. And here the example of such median class is 2.95 kgs to 3.45 kgs, because the cumulative frequency of this particular class is 361, which is more than 295, that is n by 2, and this is the immediate class having the n by 2 value, having the cumulative frequency is more than n by 2 value. Clear? So this is the way you have to select the one median class out of this 7 median class. After that you have to select the lower frequency of that particular selected median class. Now the selected median class interval is 2.95 to 3.45 kgs. So lower class value is L is equal to 2.95. F stands for frequency or the number of infant in that particular selected median class. C stands for cumulative frequency of the previous median class of the selected median class, that is previous median class is 2.45 to 2.95, and the cumulative frequency for that particular is 154, and I stands for the class interval, that is 3.45 minus 2.95, which come to the 0.5. So let's calculate. So go into the details of the formula. L means 2.95 plus F, that is 295. F stands for n by 2 value, minus 154. 154 stands for the cumulative frequency of the previous class, divided by 207, that is F is equal multiply by 0.5 is equal to 3.29. So the median weight of the infant is 3.29 kg. So in first look you will not understand fully, but with the help please take a look at the formula, take a look at the procedure I have mentioned on the screen. You will be able to understand how to calculate the median value, and this is most important example and can come your example. So do a practice to avoid a silly mistakes. Now once again we compare median with rest of the measures of central tendency, means with the mean and the mode is yet to understand, but we can compare with the mean. So median, as you can understand with the help of example, that median is little bit difficult to calculate as compared to mean. Also, it is not rigidly defined. Again, it is not based on all observations. What we can select, we have to arrange it ascending or descending order and select a select a middle value. So it is not based on all observations. Again, it is not useful for the further mathematical modeling. Again, it is affected by the sampling fluctuations. But the advantage of the median, it is not affected by the extreme values, because we are not summing up or we are not considering the extreme values for this calculation of the median. So this is the advantages and limitations. Again, median can be calculated for both qualitative and quantitative data, and it can be calculated with the help of graphical presentations. Now the third measure of the central tendency is mode. Mode means frequently repeating observations in particular data set. That is the simple meaning of the mode. Let's take a look at the mode with the help of example. So example is, the diastolic blood pressure of 9 individuals is given as follows, and the observations are 86, 76, 80, 70, 96, 86, 76, 86. Now obtain a modal value of the diastolic blood pressure. So which is the most commonly repeating observation in particular data set? So the answer is 86. So this is the example of the ungrouped data. Now, like we have seen in mean or median calculations for the group data, there are group data calculations for the modes also. So again I am mentioning that you have to note down on the page, so that it can be useful while calculating the answers. So formula for mode is L. Mode is equal to L. L stands for lower limit of the modal class. So again, as we seen in the median, you have to select a modal class, like we have selected median class in previous example. So, and after selecting that, L stands for the lower limit of modal class. Now F stands for frequency of modal class, like we have seen or we have selected median class in previous example. Which median class we have selected? Median class having the n by 2 value equal to or less than the cumulative frequency of that particular median class. Here the criteria for selection of modal class is the class having the maximum frequency is your modal class. F1 stands for frequency of the previous modal class. F2 stands for frequency of the post or next modal class, and I stands for the class interval. And formula again I repeat, L plus F minus F1 divided by 2F minus F1 minus F2 into I. Again I want to say this is again can come in your exams and little bit tricky. You can get confused or make silly mistakes. So just make sure that you have to practice at least 4-5 times to avoid the silly mistake. So let's understand with the help of example. Example is, the following is the frequency distribution of duration in days from the first day of last menstrual period and childbirth, and it is a record of the 2000 participants. So this is particularly the duration between the first day of last menstrual period and the childbirth. So duration in days mentioned as follows in first column: 240 to 250, 250 to 260, 260 to 270, and so on till 290 to 300. In front of them there are 150 women in whom the duration is between 240 to 250 days, and likewise the details for the other duration intervals also, and the frequency total of all these are 2000. So now we have to select a model class having the maximum frequency. So tell me which class having the maximum frequency. I think duration interval of 270 days to 280 days having the frequency of 600. So we have to select it as a model class. So L stands for lower limit of the selected model class. In our case, lower limit is of selected model class is 270, plus F stands for the frequency of the selected model class. Here it is 600, minus F1. F1 stands for frequency of the pre-model class, that is 450, divided by 2 into F. Again F here it is frequency of the model class, that is 600, minus F1. F1 here is 450, minus F2. F2 stands for frequency of the post model class, that is frequency of 280 to 290, that is 500, into class interval. Here the class interval is 10. Class interval means 270 minus 260, 280 minus 270, like way. So 270 plus 150 by 250 into 10, your answer will be 276. So modal value for the particular example is 276. Hopefully you understand this problem. If you go through the formula details and again correlate with the example, we will able to solve this problem. Again it is easier as compared to the calculation of the median. Okay, now let's compare our three measure of central tendency which are commonly used. So again, mode is not as much easy to calculate when we compare it with the mean. It is not rigidly defined, it is not based on all observations. Again, it is not useful for the further mathematical treatment, and again it is not least affected by the sampling fluctuations. But again, since we have not considering all the observations, so it is not much affected by the extreme values. So take home message from here, it is mean is useful for qualitative is not useful for qualitative data, but it is only useful for the quantitative data. But in quantitative data, when there is a presence of the extreme values, again mean is not useful. Then median and mode both useful for qualitative and quantitative type of a data. Again, they are not affected by the extreme values. So when your data set having the extreme values, too high values or too low values, in that case median and mode are the very useful measure of central tendency. Out of three, median and mode can be calculated by the graphical presentation also. Mean cannot be calculated by the graphical presentation. But to comment on that, mean is most commonly used measure of central tendency. And remember, in your exams we can give you the data set and we can expect answer like comment which is the most commonly or which is the most appropriate measure of central tendency for particular data. So depending what we have explained to you, you have to select one most appropriate measure of central tendency. Either you have to select mean, median or mode, and you have to give the justification behind your answer. That can be one question, and second question can be to calculate a median, mode or mean with the help of normal methods or the shortcut method. When there is no mention of any method, you have to go by the normal method, and when there is a mention of shortcut method, you have to go by the shortcut method formula. So to avoid the silly mistake, please practice it 4-5 times so that you can avoid the silly mistakes. Empirical relationship between these three measures of central tendency is mean minus mode is equal to 3 into bracket mean minus median. So with the help of this formula you can calculate a third measure of central tendency with the help of any two measure of central tendency. So you have to copy all these example in your biostatistics journal section and solve it properly and get it signed when this lockdown is over. Hopefully you can hopefully you are doing well into your homes. Follow the lockdown guidelines issued by the government and complete your journals. Pay attention to the online lectures and keep in touch with your syllabus. Thank you very much. Good day.